All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into something you've probably felt yourself. This huge puzzle of why the economy feels amazing for some people and, well, just plain broken for others. And what's wild is, we're not the only ones asking this. Even the Federal Reserve is trying to figure it out.
And look at this. This quote really hits it home. It's from Fed Governor Christopher Waller, a major player at the Fed. He's basically saying he sees two totally different Americas out there. You've got the people who are thriving, where everything's great, and then you've got everyone else, wondering what on earth just happened. It's a boom for one group and a bust for the other.
So yeah, what did happen? That's the big question we're tackling today. How did we get here? Okay, let's dive right in. First section, the Great Economic Divide. We're going to put a name to this thing, this huge split we're seeing, and break down what it actually looks like. So economists have a term for this. They call it a K-shaped economy. And it's a perfect visual, really. Just picture the letter K. After a big economic shock, you have one arm of the K shooting straight up. That's one group doing great, recovering, growing their wealth. But then there's the other arm of the K, sloping down. That's the other group, either stuck in place or actually falling behind. Two paths going in completely opposite directions. And this is what that split looks like in the real world. You've got the haves on that upper arm of the K. These are folks who own things, stocks, houses, that are just going up in value. A lot of them even locked in super cheap debt, like those crazy low mortgage rates. Then, on the other side, you have the have-nots. They're more likely to be renters, and they're relying almost entirely on their paychecks. Paychecks that just aren't keeping up with the rising cost of everything.
And this isn't just some abstract idea, okay? The numbers are real. Get this, about 20%, 1 in 5 American homeowners, still has a mortgage rate under 3%. Think about that. Their payments are low, their home value is growing, they are literally accumulating wealth and riding that top part of the K straight up.
Okay, so that's the what. Now for the how. How did we get into this situation? And, what role did the Fed, the super powerful central bank of the US, play in all this?
Now, this part's really important. The Fed didn't do this on purpose. They weren't sitting in a room thinking, how can we create more inequality? No way. This whole K-shaped thing, it was a side effect, an unintended consequence of the massive, drastic actions they took to save the entire economy from totally collapsing during a couple of huge crises. Let's just walk through the timeline, and you'll see how it all unfolded. It really kicks off back in 2008, after the financial crisis. The Fed starts pumping huge amounts of money into the system, which, boosts the value of assets like stocks. Then, fast forward to 2020 and the pandemic. The Fed slashes interest rates to basically zero to keep the economy afloat. This made borrowing money incredibly cheap for people who could. And the end result of all this? By 2025, you see wage growth for the top earners pulling way ahead of everyone at the bottom.
And here's the thing. An economist named Oren Klochkin makes a great point. He says that while the pandemic made this K-shape super obvious to everyone, its roots, they go all the way back to how we handled the 2008 crisis. So these policies have been stretching that gap wider and wider for more than a decade now.
And just look at this chart. It shows you exactly what's happening right now. For the top quarter of earners, their wages are growing at 4.4%. But for the bottom quarter, just 3.7%. That gap right there, that is the K-shape in action. One group is pulling away.
Okay, so the natural question is, right? If the Fed's actions help cause this problem, why can't they just, fix it? Well, it comes down to the kind of tools they have to work with.
Yeah, the Fed's main tool is interest rates, and it's famous for being a blunt instrument. Think of it like this. It's a sledgehammer, not a surgeon's scalpel. When they swing it, it hits the entire economy. They can't just aim it carefully to help out renters without also affecting homeowners, or vice versa. It's all or nothing.
And this table really breaks down their job description. You can see what their tools are for. Big, broad things like managing inflation for everyone and trying to keep employment high. But look at what they're not for. They can't target certain income groups, they can't directly close the wealth gap, and they can't magically fix the housing crisis for renters. It's just not in their toolkit.
And hey, the Fed officials themselves are pretty open about this. Governor Waller basically says, look, the best thing we can do is just focus on the big picture. Keep the job market strong, get the whole economy growing, and hope that helps everybody out eventually.
It all comes back to that classic economic saying, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. That's the Fed's hope. If they can just make the whole economic ocean rise, everyone's boat will go up. The problem is, this K-shape we're looking at, it kind of suggests that some people are in yachts and they're rising a whole lot faster than the people in rowboats.
So, given that they're working with this big sledgehammer, what's the plan now?
What happens next? Let's take a look at the Fed's current strategy.
So here's the game plan, pretty much. Step 1, do no harm. Above all else, they want to keep the job market stable because they know job losses crush lower-income families the most. Step 2, keep fighting inflation until it's back down to their target. And step 3? Well, step 3 is basically to hope. Hope that if they can just keep the economy expanding for a long, long time, it'll eventually lead to real wage gains for the people on the bottom half of that K.
The president of the San Francisco Fed, Mary Daly, puts it really well. She says real wage gains don't happen overnight. They come from long, steady economic expansions. So the Fed's belief, really, is that the best medicine they have is time and stability. Their prescription for the economy is patience.
Which brings us to one last really big question. You have the Fed, right? One of the most powerful economic forces on the planet. They admit their policies helped create this K-shaped divide, but they also say their tools are too blunt to fix it. So, if they can't fix it, whose job is it? And that's the tough question that this new economic reality leaves for all of us.